Welcome back to the Gateway Podcast, broadcasting live from the edge of the Mojave where the change slips through the cracks. We are live on United Public Radio Network 107.7 FM. I'm your host, C.L. Thomas, and tonight we're turning our attention to one of the most fascinating and controversial topics of our time, the growing wave of government disclosures surrounding unidentified anomalous phenomena, better known as UAPs. I'm joined by Joe Montaldo, founder of the International Community for Alien Research and host of long-running UFO Undercover radio program. But before we get into that, you've been listening to Sean Kelly with Into the Night on United Public Radio Network 107.7. If you missed his show, he comes on again on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific. I hope everyone is well. It's currently 100 degrees out here in the valley. And we'll get to our subject right after this.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
And we're back. For decades, records of mysterious objects in our skies were often ridiculed, they're made fun of, or hidden behind layers of secrecy. But in recent years, there have been declarations of military footage coming out and hearings and whistleblower testimonies. All kinds of things have just been coming out of the news with government investigations, and a lot of stuff has been swept under the rug until recent. What are these objects and who knows about them, and what information may still be hidden from the public? Joining me tonight is one of the most recognized voices in UFO and extraterrestrial research community, Joe Montaldo. I'm very honored to have him on the show. He is also the founder of International Community for Alien Research and host of long-running UFO Undercover radio program, United Public Radio. Joe has spent decades investigating UFO encounters, government involvement, alien abduction claims, and the ongoing search for the truth behind this phenomenon. Tonight, Joe and I will explore the latest UAP disclosures and discuss what recent government statements and investigations may reveal, and also what they may mean. Have you guys had any experiences with anything that you've seen? If you have, I would like to hear about them. So shout out to me on my Facebook page. I'm going to put a special link in there to hear your story. But in the meantime, settle in and keep an open mind as we get into our topic tonight. Joe, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Miss L. How are you been?
I've been good.
Is Michelle being nice to you? I know she's a taskmaster. Chop.
Chop, chop. Well, I've been on time with the shows, so I haven't had any of those texts from her lately.
Yes. I'm sure you're not aggravated the way we do. Yes, I guess my co-hosts are bad. What can I say? Especially this Sean Kelly guy. He's a mess, man.
Oh, he is supposed to stop in here tonight.
I know. I've seen his name earlier. I've seen him pop in a while ago. I know he's up there. I'm watching him. I got my eyes on Sean. Anybody ask, Sean's a co-host on 2 shows with me, so y'all don't give me trouble about it. He's a host. He's on News on the Flip Side on Friday night, and he comes and hangs out with Jay and I on the chat on Saturday. That show is bad. But, we have a firm rule for the chat: 30 and under. 30 and over only, please.
That's the one that's always getting us banned, isn't it?
Well, unfortunately, it did last time, but the news show got us in trouble first. But none of it was for anything bad. I don't mind when I get banned when I say something outrageous or I do something crazy. But when I get banned for playing the song, the girls were in the room. I can't remember the name of the song. It's a girls group, and they're on a construction site, and all the guys are topless, going around all muscles and stuff. So I played that, because just for the girls. And apparently YouTube had a connection fit. It's there. I'm like, they said it was third party. I'm like, YouTube, this is on your server. How can this be third party? But I've learned, it's worth fighting YouTube sometimes. We lost 4 channels with them. We got 3 of them back. The most important one they wouldn't give us back. That's when I made money. But all the rest of them they gave us back. One of them, 2 years later, they wrote to me, "Would you like to appeal international radio?" And I'm like, "Sure." "Oh, we can give it back, Mr. Joe." I'm like, "Well, guess what? Maybe the aliens probed them. I'm not sure."
Well, what do you know about the UAP files that are being released by the government?
You're just trying to get me in trouble, aren't you?
Yes, I want to hear all about it. I do live in Nevada for a reason,
Well, Nevada's a great place to hang out, and there's lots of sky, lots of stuff to see there. I mean, you got Area 51 too, which is always like. But you know what? We found a place. I was in Utah, giving a lecture at some city about a third of the way up the state, and he goes, "Let's go down to Area 51." So we're on our way to Area 51. We pass through all these ghost towns, all these weird places. It gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
We find this place where it's so dark. First off, you can't see a damn hand in front of your face. But what you could see every once in a while, way, way off in distance, was a glow of the Las Vegas airport. And you'd see little streams of planes coming. So then you look around and you notice there's a black spot way out over here. But this thing's streaming to it, but there's no light. So you know it is. You know it's Area 51. So we're sitting out there. These weird things come streaming over the car. I thought the tank was going to have a heart attack. It was so low the first time it came over the car where, it was an SUV. And we went in a four-wheel drive, whatever you call it. And it just, I was like, dude, what the hell? He said, "It's an alien." I said, "I don't think it's an alien." And then it came back, and it was even lower the second time around. I mean, the thrust knocked everybody on their ass. I mean, we just went tumbling, all 6 of us, all 7 of us. And sitting there going, So I don't think that's an alien, dude. I think that's somebody from Area 51 going, "Look at these stupid humans out in the middle of the desert."
Were you off of Highway 93?
I had to be totally honest with you. I don't know where I was. That's why I have a rule. When I go anywhere to go see things, I always make sure I'm friends with locals because they know all the shortcuts, all the roads, all the highways. So,
and that would be me.
Yeah, Nathan and Danny and all them knew everything. Yeah. So. And then we were at a little alien there. We had a couple friends out there. The only thing, a little alien, she got a little hot at me. She said, "Are you recording this?" I said, "No," because I had my phone sitting right here with the camera, which I was recording. I'm not gonna lie, but I didn't make the conversation public. But that's where I met the sheriff, and he told me, how people get arrested all the time, and it's only $750 to get out of jail. And that was a few years back, but yes, people, I shouldn't tell you this, I'm sure, but somebody's gonna get arrested. So if you get past the first gate and
you're not getting past the first gate.
So no, people, he said, it happens all the time. People get past the first gate. You know what they do? They go in like halfway down the wire field somewhere and then run. And they get in with about a mile because there's no, and then all of a sudden, nasty things happen. So, but anyway, if you get past the first gate, it's a night in jail and a $750 fine, and you're out. No charges, no nothing. Now, if you get past the second gate,
but they don't shoot you.
That's if they don't shoot you. They do have the right to shoot you once you pass the first gate. Generally, they wait till you get past the second gate because at that point, your rights are suspended. You no longer have any rights anymore. They can do whatever the hell they want with you, sticking you in some deep, dark hole and never say anything about you ever again. And there's nothing anybody, including the president, can do about it. So you're checked. I remember when who was the first? First, it was a Carter. No, it was Reagan. No, it was Clinton goes, "I'm going to Area 51," and the guy said, "No, you're not. You don't have your clearance isn't high enough." And I still remember Clinton's on TV going, "How come I'm president of free world? How come my clearance?" He said, "You're only here for 8 years. We're here for life." Oh, okay. Well, that makes a little sense to me. Criminals don't get to know the secrets.
I found 5 gates into Area 51, and I just found a 6th one by accident just this past weekend. And it's actually from Mercury, that old where they set off all those nuclear bombs. Yeah. It's where they're storing all the nuclear stuff from that blast, and where the town is and everything that they blew up. It's right around the mountain there. That there's a road there that goes into it's the other gate for Area 51.
Yeah,
it goes all the way back in there.
Nathan's got a map of the gates of 51, 52, 53, and 51, 52, 53, and 54. That's because there's 4 areas there. 53 is where Charles Hall's aliens were, or I shouldn't say were, where they still are. They're still there. And then of course we got area 51, 52 or 54. One of them is the testing range. I don't know.
Yes, that's Mercury.
So, and I noticed some of the testing range. You'll notice they say the signs read there may still be active bombs in the dirt, so stay out. So that's a little bit of a deterrent. Sneaking in is one thing, but sneaking in a field where there might be unexploded ordnance is all another damn game. You're like, well, wait a minute now.
Well,
No, Jax. Okay.
That whole area is just so fast, and I don't think people realize how big the area is.
It's
so
huge.
It starts out. First, you hit the test site, and that's right before you get to what they call Creech. And Creech is a big area as well, and it's part of that test site. And they have that's where they put those big drones. So at nighttime when you're out there, you can see them flying the drones. They only fly them at night, and they test them. Like they do the touch and down thing. Like I've seen them do it. And then right next to that, if you go further back in there, that's where you get into Area 51 and Area 52. And then you hit Mercury, and Mercury kind of sits like right in the middle of all that because it kind of loops around the whole back mountainside, and it's all the way up and down Highway 93 and 95.
Next
that
time,
whole area.
next time I thought Nathan Holler get me a copy of his map. I'll send it to you. They talk about 7 and 9 gates, but I got confused because I said, are they all Area 51? He said, yes. He said, but 3 of the gates cross, or 4 of the gates cross over into other areas. So they're not gates from the outside, they're gates from inside, from one side to the other side. I'm like, well, how the hell you know that's there? He said, because we have the map. But a good friend of mine, Raymond, they snuck in Area 52, got all the way to the cattle cross on an Area 51, got across it because there's no security out there because it's up against another base. And he said, they got across it. He said, but he said, we got within maybe a quarter mile, maybe a half mile of the facility, and sure enough, buddy, they knew they were there. So it was no time at all. There were people all around them. He said they arrested the whole bunch of them, but he said they took them off, dropped them off in some little shithole town he still can't remember the name of. Probably was. And spent the night, paid the fine, and got out. He said, but they were warned if they got caught again, they weren't getting out. And I imagine if you're stupid enough to break in Area 51 twice, you can certainly go to jail. I mean, come on.
I've been to 2 of the gates, but I haven't ever went past the gates.
Well, my clearance is high enough to get in, but it's so this is how this works. I can get in, walk in, go in, all the way into the base, get into the base, ride them down the elevators, and see empty rooms. Because even though my clearance is probably higher than half the people that are working there, it doesn't really matter because they have what they call site security. So you can get into place because it doesn't matter because all it is a building. It's an underground building. Technically, if I remember correctly, it's a 125-story building straight down, but it's a building underground. It's like they dug the whole thing out and built a skyscraper underground with all kind of features. I know for sure there's 2 rooms that have round rooms that are just open and go straight up, probably 50 stories, and then there's a round hole on the roof. So obviously it's some place for something that flies to get in and out of. Aliens or not, I wouldn't want to tell anybody. Robert Bigelow, we were having lunch, and I was told this guy had heard me talking in Laughlin, Nevada. He wanted to talk to him. And so I said, sure. I was out there giving a lecture at, I think it was the Alien Abduction Conference. So we go sit down and we talk. And he said, I heard you know such and such and such. People, I can't mention their names on here. But I said, yeah, I know them all. He said, could you get me an interview? I said, yes. And you're trying to get in Area 51, right? He's like, yes, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I said, you got the money and you got big government contracts. So you probably got the security. I said, so they're going to let you in, bring in a cafeteria, feed you a hamburger, show you some stupid shit. And then they're going to let you out, and then 2 days later, they're going to wipe your memory. And if you tell anybody, they're going to wipe theirs too. He's like, no. I said, oh, yeah. I said, but if you want, we can go the whole routine and see what happens. And I said, but I'm telling you where this is going. It's just they are so overly paranoid that it's ridiculous. It doesn't matter. Even though they think they can trust you, they still going to make you forget.
I heard from somebody, is this true? I've heard from somebody that workers, if they have clearance for Area 51, and they fly there's a plane that goes back and forth a couple times a day.
Yeah, the Janet flight.
Yeah. Once they get to their area, to get there, they have to wear like goggles or something to where they can only see down, like they're not even allowed to look around or anything or anyone for that matter. And then they get to their place.
So that actually was true. So this is weird because this place has progressed over the years. So when it was first built, there was lots of odd security features, and that was one of them. They didn't want you looking, but now the way it's set up is it's just hallways, runways, and doors. So as long as you don't open the door, you don't know what the hell's there. So you can walk around all you want, and it's color coded. It's floor coded, color coded, and elevator coded. So some elevators only go down to X amount of floors. I think there's only 2 that go top to bottom completely. All the rest of them have a sign which stop. And I think some of them only go to 1 floor. So it's very weird. But that's how they control the security. If your key card don't let you go to that floor, your ass is going to jail as soon as you hit the button. You're gonna be like, "What are you doing in this elevator? Were you drunk? Oh, not good. You got the wrong one. You only noticed one button, and you still didn't get out. Get it. You're going to jail. Come on, let's go." There's a few other weird things besides that, but now their security is so good. They scan them coming in and out. There was a guy who made a complaint that he thought because they were scanned so much, he might end up with cancer. Because a lot of people worked at Area 51 ended up with cancer.
Well, it's because of all the nuclear waste that's not too
there. Well, it wasn't even because of the nuclear waste. It was because the idiots went and set it on fire. I mean, excuse me, thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. I don't even pick anything up from that area.
Hell no, because you're liable to get irradiated. That's the whole reason we have cattle mutilation, so we know where the radiation is. Oh, now I gave away your secret. You have to kill everybody who listened to your damn show. Oh, I guess for
the listeners out there, if you ever go out to the gates and you see the gemstones or anything laying around up there, don't touch it. It could be radioactive. That's a real thing.
Or it could have some hallucinogenic chemicals sprayed on from Area 51. I cannot tell you how many people have told me they've gone out there and tripped. When there was a group of them, you're not supposed to sleep by the gate, you're not supposed to have fires, not supposed to have drones, not supposed to have nobody listens. No, nobody listens.
That one gate, though, to be fair, is BLM land all the way up into the gate. So technically, you can do anything you want, but you just don't cross that gate.
And that was the argument because we were sitting out there. But anyway, they started going out and having bonfires at night, and a bunch of people would go out and they'd be hanging on the fences and stuff. And they're watching the whole entire time you're out there.
Yeah, they see you coming up over. There's a solid. I actually saw it over the weekend too. There's a guard gate way up in the mountain, and you can see it. I just happened to see the sun glisten off of it the last time I went up over the mountain. But as soon as you come up over the mountain into Rachel, it's sitting up way up there. They're watching you come in.
Danny, so one of the ways we went in, it's a gravel road, but the damn thing is wide. I mean, it's wide. You could put a rig on it sideways. That's how wide the road is. So you're going down this gravel road, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, is a brand new triple wide blacktop highway. Yes. Oh yes, because these are designed to carry whatever they're driving is huge. It reminds me of one of them Eureka shows where they get the big long rigs. It's just weird. Well, so we went in that way, and then we came out. You could take a left off the blacktop onto another gravel road, which took you to another road that took you to Little Alien. But actually, Dean, the people at Little Alien were just as nice as could be, really, except for a little irritation about the filming. But other than that, they were very nice. Told us all kind of wonderful stuff. Told them how they used to take Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner to the guard houses and all.
Yeah, it's a neat area. A little on the spooky side, I think. But you're
it's
right.
Definitely on the spooky side, especially since they got ghost towns out there as well as Area 51.
There's one ghost town out there. It's up in Mercury. It's where they set that nuclear bomb off. There's still ruins around there from that, and it's pretty weird. It's like a 1940s
Well, you just never know what you're going to run into. So if you're out there, so if you're in Nevada and you're headed east, so you could get on one line and go through Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico and be in a no-fly zone the entire time. And most of that property you're going to cross belongs to the U.S. military. It's a very strange thing. I think they designed it that way. That way they can do test flights and all. Because, matter of fact, where Stevensville is in Texas, where the Stevensville UFO was seen, that's on that same corridor. And what's funny about that is the Stevensville thing turned out to be an Aurora. When I called my buddy at Bowen, she's like, "Oh no, Joe, that's one of ours." I'm telling her on the phone about it. She knew exactly where I was, exactly what I was talking about. She knew the whole damn thing. She knew what the craft looked like. She even told me it had rivets and had 16-row engines, which they had told me just minutes before that at the bonfire where they were telling us what happened. But what the giver was for me was first the thing the guy said, we're listening to him, he goes, "There was chase plane." I said, "Was it UFO?" I'm like, And then the guy said, as it passed over, I noticed a nose cone had rivets. I'm like, well, I ain't no freaking alien craft. That's something that belongs to us. Even today, we try not to put rivets on stuff anymore because it goes so fast. It makes so much heat. It takes stuff away from them. But the whole area out there is this. If you're brave enough to get out there and maybe get on a little dirt bike or something, do some riding across the desert, there's no telling what you're going to find. I would tell anybody who goes, bring a Geiger counter with you, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, bring a Geiger and also bring a satellite phone.
Yeah, bring a sat phone because you're not going to get safe with yourself. Yeah.
So here's what everybody wants to know. What is going on with these disclosures and what have you heard? Is there anything, what have they disclosed that's relevant to the community?
Well, let's see. This is what the problem is. Jay and I have gone through 5 shows now, but we've gone through a lot of the videos. And frankly, I have personal stuff that's better than what the government's released.
Really?
Yeah, it's so I don't want to take away from the importance of these flare videos being put out. It is an admission by the government that this is something we don't know what it is. So that's a plus. It's not an admission that it's aliens. It's just an admission that it's something we don't understand. We do have women, we have people in Congress saying that they're aliens and we might have 4 types. Well, first, you got to have evidence for that. Anybody can say that. And I would have gave them more credit, but the lady who was talking about it just popped off the 4 internet aliens. And I'm thinking, well, you don't know squat, do you? And I know for a fact Congress doesn't know them squat because I've talked to a lot of people over there, and they just it's not something. It's never really been on their real radar because it doesn't benefit them anyway. Matter of fact, it can actually end up hurting Congress and the country. One of the people ask me all the time, why won't the government fess up about aliens? I said, well, let me ask you something. I said, if alien abductions are true, and the government's been allowing our citizens to be taken for hundreds of years or decades or eons, don't you think there should be some reparations? I said, do you not think these people aren't going to sue till they're blue in their face? I've been getting abducted my whole life and you're laughing in the White House. It's not going to go real well. I said, you will have to give amnesty to everyone involved to have true disclosure, because a lot of the so-called Men in Black, which is just basically a hybrid group, they're going to want anonymity. All the people in charge, these shadow governors, people like to call it, which have nothing to do with our government. These are ex-Boeing, ex-Lockheed, ex-senators, they're all exes, ex-colonels, ex-generals, ex-admirals, but they form this group, and that's who controls this military-industrial complex, which controls most of the extraterrestrial data, except for maybe the contact data. You're going to have to offer them amnesty because you're not going to fess up that they've been holding technology that could further man, save people from cancer, end wars overnight. It's going to piss people off. That's what it's going to do.
And I was just thinking that because you said that it doesn't benefit the government at all to disclose anything or any of this stuff would benefit them, but it kind of does, because couldn't they use alien technology for the better good? And why wouldn't they want that?
Because they don't want that. It doesn't help them. What helps them is the fact that you think that new F-47 flying around the sky is an alien craft. That's what helps them.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they do that they use this as a cover-up for. Plus, like I just said about the cattle mutilation, The community wants to tell you it's alien abduction when we know for a fact now. It's not even a thing anymore. We actually got the documented proof of now. So we know the government was using cattle mutilations, and that we found out because they were only stealing, only taking cows that were insured. And the only way you can collect on your insurance is if you have the carcass. So they would take the parts they needed, which happened to be the parts where radiation would accumulate the fastest, and then they would take all of that in the blood and then they would test it. And if it tested positive, then they may even came and removed the cow if it tested positive, but they knew what the contamination level was if they had to intervene or step in to make sure nothing happened or thousands of people didn't get sick from contaminated water. It's a very cool way of doing it. And it's easy to figure out. It wasn't even that hard for me to work it out. I mean, one, there's no cattle mutilations east of the Mississippi River. There's not really anywhere else in the world. People always say they are, but when you get into them and check them, they're not. And the only place we know that there actually was in South America. And that turned out to be a general who was stuffing the cows in a water tower to collect insurance.
Mm.
Yeah, see, he'd leave them there for about a week and they'd blow them up, and then they would throw them out and say they were returned that way. He did it with hundreds of cows. They finally caught him then. So that was. But see, that kind of stuff hurts the field. But when you go around telling people that cattle mutilations or alien abductions or aliens come and stealing cattle parts, you just do not. No, I mean when we know what it is, and you know what bothers me most about ufology is when they know they're wrong about something and they still refuse to change it. When the research now in today's world bears a different answer, like with the Betty and Barney Kill case, they just don't want it. They're too dogmatic for their own good. But getting back to the current stuff, I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out for the 2026. But when I ask people, what do you remember from the two disclosure meetings on for the Congress, what do you think they tell me? So remember, we had captains there, colonels there, great pilots, great witnesses. These guys are very observant. They're freaking fighter pilots. They have to be. It's what they do for a living. So yeah, great testimony, great speakers. Who do you think they remembered, or who do you think they told me about the most?
I have no idea.
The Koresh guy, the spy. So Koresh was introduced to our government by Dr. Greer, basically. And Greer always was a thing about aliens or dimension, like come from another dimension, which some of them may. But what we're talking about in the primary aliens that visit this planet, it doesn't look like they come from other dimensions. But anyway, Crash gets up there and he says that not only do they come from other dimensions, but every other third craft comes through, falls out the sky and crashes, and we collect it. We collect the bodies and the craft. So I would figure after 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 100 times, you wouldn't come through the thing anymore, wouldn't you? I think they did. I don't think when Crash thought this story up that he realized these aliens have been visiting the planet for a long time. So where are all these other spaceships that have been falling out of the dimension all around the rest of the planet? Because I mean, we weren't even here 300 years ago, 400 years ago. So I mean,
well, that's just it. It seems like though, if there are people actually visiting the planet, why aren't they trying to interact with us instead of being secretive?
They are interactive. They interact with us all the time. And they used to be more open about it, but we got crazy. When you look at the ancient world, they were very open about it. The Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Mesopotamians, the Mesoamericans, the Native Indians will tell you they walked openly amongst them. Every race prior to modern era talked about this. We're the problem, not them. We scared the living shit out of them. I mean, come on, I'll talk about cooking them for dinner. I mean, oh man, that coon ass down there with a gun. We better stay out of Louisiana. It's humans, unfortunately, are scary. Even though the aliens are much more advanced than us and could kill us with thought, that's not what they're here for. So we put them at a disadvantage in the fact that first off, there's 8 billion of us. Doesn't matter how many are here right now. There's 8 billion of us. It's a big population to deal with. I don't know. I think they get a little worried sometimes about open contact. And like I said, it did seem like until about 2,000 years ago, they were quite open. They were everywhere. I mean, there's artwork of that lizard thing with the purse all over in like 9 societies. And it seems like, and I can't count how many societies talk about things flying in the sky before anything could possibly be flying in the sky. I mean, we've only had flight for 300 years, and that started with hot air balloons. So anything prior to that, you got to be like shit. And when you see all this artwork from the Middle Ages with these things going across like stars with people sitting inside them, how do they know they were people? It's not an angel. They are painted as an angel or a demon, just as these two spacecraft with people in them, with Mary Magdalene holding Jesus in her lap.
Do you think Jesus was an alien?
Oh, I got fired over that question. Not sure shit. I lost a job over because I said I thought Jesus might be an extraterrestrial. Actually, what I said
think he was too. I mean, think about the characteristics of it.
Because somebody goes, Joe, why'd you say that? It can't be true. I said, think about what you're saying here. So I said, let's look at it this way. I said, go see the movie Late Great Planet Earth. You'll find out that 85% of all the miracles he performed have now been reperformed through technologies today. I said, that only leaves 15%. And that was 20 years ago. Now it's less than 5% of what he did. And just the other day, some lady invented where you can walk on water now. Well, some guy in Australia invented the original device, but she enhanced it, which made it better. So you can just step off a pier and there's little things on the bottom of your feet and just cross.
I think Chris Angel here in Las Vegas might do that.
And then, we have all kind of things now that you can take your phone of all things and take it over your body and scan your heart rate, your pulse rate, check your blood pressure, check your diabetes, check your it's just insane. And this is just now. It's not 100 years from now or 500 years from now, the kind of technologies we're going to have, or 10,000 years from now. There is nothing that was performed by Jesus at a time that we won't be able to reproduce. Well, except for maybe one thing, the resurrection. And I'm not even 100% sure we won't be able to do that because the Greys do it now. So the Greys reptilian humans can all do it. They can upload their consciousness to a new body. See, that's the thing. Did Jesus do that? Did he die and his body went to a new body and he just came back that way? Because that's what the Greys, that's how the Greys started out with their thing. If one of them dies, they're uploaded instantly to a new body. They could be halfway across the galaxy, but their consciousness goes to the nearest gray ship. And if there's not a body available, it's stored in a computer until such a time that there is. But so they're basically lifespan's endless. Well, the reptilians and humans do it now, I think, thanks to the Greys. That's probably was a gift of technology, or maybe the council did it. But for some reason, it seems the way they do it. So thinking of that, I mean, Jesus was only 2,000 years ago, and the Greys have been around much longer than that. He could have been one of them. He could have been the guy who's supposed to come here and straighten shit up, not realizing humans are in the head.
Well, what's interesting about that is in the old medieval photos or paintings, I should say, of Jesus, he has that halo around him, as well as all of the angels and things like that. But then when you look at Native American art, again, you see like there's always a figure or a chief or something that has that same halo, and the two cultures didn't connect.
They were probably, could have been the same person, could have been from the same species, who sent me that? Archangels. Well, no, I don't think what people like the Mesoamericans and Native Americans describe would be considered archangels. They don't look the same. They don't act the same.
It's just that the pictures of them, the pictoglyph. What am I trying to say?
The pictograph.
Yeah, the petroglyphs are kind of similar to the medieval artwork in depicting that halo around certain figures. It's.
Let's see. You see it in Middle Eastern art. I've seen it in Native American art. I've seen it in Mesoamerican art. I've seen it in European art. Usually European art that's connected to Christ. I've seen it in Asian art. Matter of fact, I've even seen a dragon with a halo. Mm-hmm. And it's a specific dragon that's a Chinese word. Oh, I can't. That's it. It went right out of my head. As soon as I seen the little dragon, little face, it went right out of my head. I think somebody shot my dog.
Looking at recent disclosures, have you noticed any common characteristics among the reported objects?
It's an interesting question because most of them seem to be like probes or something, round or oblong, weird shaped, like the one that was shot. It was kind of long and thin. But then there's the star one, which is really interesting. Now, I'm not 100% sure the star one's an alien, but it's a very interesting picture because if it's ours, it's something really advanced. And if it's not, well, whoever owns it, it's a very advanced craft. Now, I do know for a fact that we are working on FTL on 4 different types right now. So faster than light speed travel is probably not as far in the future as people think it is. It's a scientist just recently figured out how to pull energy out of light. This ought to be interesting. They're working on figuring out how to use dark matter and antimatter as power sources. And pretty soon we're going to be bringing helium-3 home to Earth to be starting using power. And then if NASA and Euro have their way, they're going to build big 5-mile across mirrors in space and beam down electricity to our planet. So energy may become a thing of the past as far as having to worry about it anymore. If helium-3 alone is enough to supply the world, I think they said for 3,000 years with power. And by then, I'm sure we'll have cold fission and cold fusions, all kind of other wonderful little gadgets. But Elon's working on a faster than light speed drive. There's a couple other people are too. One's working on a plasma drive that is accumulated light speed drive. Recently, we found other things that go faster than the speed of light, so we know it's breaking light speed is achievable. But, and I've always said this for about 30 years, light speed's going to be easy to figure out. What's going to be hard is one, get out of here. Hey, the kid just came in. Go. Sorry about that. This is probably my son walking. No, wait, what was I saying before they went off?
About the speed of light.
Oh, wait, now who was I talking about? It's okay, baby. It'll be all right. Okay. So I just watching people coming in and out of the door while we're talking. I forgot what the hell I was going to say. Damn, I hate when it happens. Okay.
Well, you're talking about like flight behavior and how there's a lot of similarities with acceleration and how we're just now developing.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. So
and using helium and things like that.
So the first thing we have to learn before we even worry about light speed is when you punch it and you don't have inertia dampers, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to be smushed in the wall behind you like a bug on your windshield instantly. Just, you ever seen Expanse? There's a scene in Expanse when the guy hits the ring and all of his body just, it's gross, but it's cool. You ought to see that. It's gross, but it's cool. But it's true. It's what would happen. It just kind of separates you because you're going so fast. You like separate from your bones and everything just separates. Oh, it's disgusting, but that would happen. And then there's the other problem. So I want to go 2 or 3 or 4 or even 10 times the speed of light. Okay. So now I'm hauling ass. I mean, we're cruising 1,000,000 miles a second. Whoosh, whoosh. Okay, well, wait, what is it? Oh, we're dead. Holy shit, we're dead. We're dead. No, so you can't do that. You got to know what's in front of you to go that fast. So we need to work on ways that we can see. We need sensors that can see hundreds of light years out. Something that can stay at least 100 light years ahead of the spacecraft at all times. Because if not, because you got to have time to adjust or you're going to die. You're going to get smushed against something else or run into a sun or run into a planet because you don't know it's there until, oh, shit, then guess what? You're dead. So those are all things we have to work on. So eventually we'll get it all together. But when they invent FTL, that's one good thing for us, not so much because we're going to be traveling the cosmos, which is good, but that means we now have a new power source, something that produces much greater amounts of power, which is just a good thing for society. The goal is right now for cold fusion pellets. So you create this. So when you buy a car, it'll come with this little round ball about this big that runs your car. Now you can take that out and plug it into your boat, plug it into your house, plug it into anything you want. It'll run whatever you plug, and it'll last 15,000 years.
That's kind of the problem with the Tesla cars right now is the batteries.
Oh, Tesla, his cars. You know, I love Elon Musk, but sometimes I want to slap him. He's brilliant people are like that. Sometimes he just one of the smartest men I ever knew. We'd go to breakfast and he'd fall asleep in breakfast. I'm like, we'd be out all night actually, but he'd fall asleep in breakfast. I'm like, what are you doing? I said, what is your IQ again? I said, how do you get an IQ like that and fall asleep in your food? I said, that's just embarrassing, man. I can't hold my liquor, Joe. I said, obviously.
Here's one of the things I've heard about all these disclosures coming out that from critics, they're saying that the government is simply releasing old information that's been packaged as new.
Well, I mean, it's old in the fact that 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26. What's interesting about it is 90% of it's out of the Middle East. There's hardly nothing on U.S. territory. Makes me wonder if we're not watching our own territory. Well, in a way, that's a good thing if we're not observing our own territory, because that means we're not spying on our citizens. And then it's a bad thing that we're just letting aliens fly around our country without watching them. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't on that.
Or maybe, yeah, I think that's a good point, though. Maybe we just don't have our radar over our citizens. We're more watching. It makes sense to me that we're watching the Middle East, specifically what's going on.
Yeah, because we have all kind of assets in the Middle East, watching everything that moves. Over here, first off, nothing can really get here without us seeing it first. Unless they bring a sub over and come right up to in a river. Other than that, if they launch anything from anywhere, we're going to see it coming for an hour ahead of time, half an hour ahead of time. Anybody sending planes or boats, we're going to see that. So I guess it's a little different. They don't have to watch all the time, but in the Middle East, we have a constant presence watching everything all the time. We got all kind of intercepting. I think currently between the like 7 countries over there are now over 50 different interceptor missile sets. Each running about 4 to 6 missiles at a time. That's a lot of missiles to put in there.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
whistleblowers, they claim that information regarding non-human technology and possible crash retrieval programs have been withheld from Congress and the public.
So I got a good question for you. So that's what we were talking about, David. Mr. Koresh earlier. So he was the one saying all this stuff about the recoveries and everything in the crashes. So first off, if I believed about crashes, then I would have to say that the extraterrestrials who have seriously advanced technology have a worse flight record than the FAA. I have a hard time.
We have crashes all the time, though. Our military has crashes all the time.
Not really, and rule number 1 was the first rule when we have a crash, we retrieve the crash.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because we don't want the idiots getting like the Middle Easterns getting our technology. We already learned that lesson when Iran got hold of one of the Reaper drones and advanced their drone project 20 years. Now they sell them to everybody in the Middle East. So I don't think an extraterrestrial would actually let us keep a really advanced craft that could be turned and used on them. It's not even a matter can it be turned and used on us. It's a matter can it be turned and used on them. So why would they let us keep it?
How would they retrieve it, though?
Same way they retrieve people.
So does that mean that this stuff, the Area 51 or Area 51, the crash of Roswell, that didn't happen?
This is what's weird. So the crash of Roswell is not exactly what it appears to be. That ship came from Germany. So in around 1890, 1899, somewhere around there, the chancellor in charge after World War I was given a saucer, the backwards engineer. Now, by 1910 through 1914, Germany was building saucer everything. Saucer planes, saucer tanks, saucer boats, just trying to figure out what this thing was. Not with much luck. Well, Wernher von Braun actually talked about this thing in one of his memoirs about seeing this going. He asked him where it came from because he knew it, because he was building those advanced things they had. He was wanting to know where the hell this thing came from. Well, anyway, when they came and got Wernher von Braun and missed some of the other scientists because something happened early, he told them about this ship, and they retrieved it while they were there and brought it back. There's actually documentation about this. So it's always bothered me why they were so hardcore on the Roswell thing. We get it to Roswell, okay? So the reason this ship was allowed is because it was given. It was freely given by one of the aliens. And people forget it. At 1899, Germany was the most advanced country on the planet by far. They were leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. They still were in World War II. We were just playing catch up. Eventually, we passed them up, but still, they were ahead of everybody. So it would make sense that an advanced race would have came and saw them. They're brilliant engineers. So it would make sense. Anyway, they get it back to Roswell. One of the Greys probably said, okay, we're gonna try to help y'all learn how to fly this thing. Now, by this time, Bob Lazar comes into the scene, but no, that was after. Sorry about that. But I was thinking about something else. But anyway, they bring it out there. They said, okay, we're gonna fly it. And the reason all this happens is because what was found out at Mount Brazos Ranch was debris field. Okay, any ship that can fly interstellar is going to probably come down in one piece. The material it's made out of is able to run into micrometeors at faster than light travel, which means impacting the Earth is not going to destroy. But this thing was destroyed. So then comes Corona, same day, Corona. There's a ship found in Corona with a chunk, a little hole actually knocked out the side of it. And it looks like the hole was made from the inside, like something blew it open. And there were 4 human type bodies laying on the ground that were all melty looking. They were pink and glowing, melty looking. And the ones that were found at Mac Brazel's were the gray. So what they think happened was that something happened inside the ship. The humans were trying to fly it. It got out of control. So the grays hopped in the escape pod, popped out, crashed. The ship went down, crashed, and they found the humans that were flying it and the grays and the 2 crash sites. So we know all of this happened now. We have witnesses to both sites now. So that means we crashed the Roswell ship, not anybody else. It didn't come crashing because people say, "Oh, lightning knocked it." I'm thinking this thing is exposed to cosmic radiation on a level that cannot be reproduced on this planet, and yet it doesn't come fall off the sky. But yet a lightning burst hits it in our sky and it falls out the sky. So I'm just not believing that. Besides that, I said I would bet you it's got lightning arresters on board. Probably turns it into energy. I don't think all the lightning would do is charge it. So those kind of things, people I always told people, listen, it's one of the things that's got in the field. Nobody thought logically. I said, you know what? I got a bachelor's in science. Let's bring some logic to ufology because, frankly, they're some idiots. It's like the super soldier program. Do you think it exists?
It's kind of disappointing, though, that out of all the disclosures happening, that they haven't disclosed anything of alien life or us having any of them in captivity or anything like that.
After 2 years of disclosure and all its dumps, we know no more now than we did 2 years ago. And it's sad, other than the fact that at least the government's admitting that it could be extraterrestrial life. So we're not fighting uphill against the government completely anymore. It's a partial fight. Congress is interested. So now if you went to Congress with hard proof, you could probably get them to do it. But testifying to Congress is great. And, 2 trips, God knows how many hours now. It's, they're just not sure what to believe. That's why when they asked me about it, I said, well, I'll testify. I couldn't do it in public at the time. Now I could, but then when we did it, it was different because I was into something else. But I'm the one that suggested the polygraph. If you're going to do it, because I knew if you asked me a question, I'd tell you, well, this is how they come take these people. And this is one of the things they're doing. And the reason there's not missing time anymore is because the aliens got wise to the researchers and figured out the researchers knew that missing time meant alien abduction, along with a couple other things that they just changed. I said, instead of covering their memories anymore, they loop the memories. It's a progression. And the only reason we know that is because we started investigating, it was working like this. 15, 18 years later, it wasn't. There were no more missing time cases. Trying to find memories that were covered was almost impossible because they just weren't there anymore, unless it was a Milabs case. And then we got some lucky breaks and we figured out what was going on. Loop memories are easier because, like in your case, you like to go out to the desert, you like to go do things. Something that you enjoy doing can be looped into your brain so that your brain doesn't question it. You might have been missing for a whole day, but your brain's not questioning because as far as your brain's concerned, I was out, chasing UFOs in the middle of the desert. And you're not going to, you might be chasing ghosties, but whatever it is, you're not going to question the memory. And the only reason they did like the girl with the hot dog is because every morning when she was pregnant, nasty, used to stop and get chili dog every morning, big pregnant thing. And then she wasn't pregnant and she remembered, just like 2 years later, she remembered stopping that morning and getting a hot dog. Well, first off, the place was closed. So there's no way she did it. And she said you couldn't pay her money to eat chili dog now.
Man.
She said she hates them things. So boom, out of nowhere. And then we got the case in Florida where the cops said they were there at 10:10, but the hotel cam shows them leaving at 11:10. But the cops cam shows they're there at 10:10. And everybody's clocks were right because the dispatcher was called. The cop called the dispatcher and she verified the time. But the hotel cameras and the people at 7-Eleven authenticated the time when they left the hotel. They left the hotel, I think it was like 10:45. They stopped at Circle K right in the middle of shift change. So there was 4 people that I all remember seeing. They said they were really friendly, really nice people. And then they went out and got out to the beach. And so they got out the car right after about 5:11 and walked out to the beach. So, but again, the car was there at 10 after 10.
Now, does that have any relation to the CERN that everyone's talking about?
No, people talk about it. No. So the Greys, what the aliens decided was, instead of taking you and having it missing time, because like the case we have, I went to dinner with a couple in Pensacola, no less. Next morning, this lady calls me at 6:30 in the morning, screaming, howling, freaking out. I get there, she got hair in her legs this long. Okay, she was clean shaven night before. She was wearing a skirt, pre-dress. Got pictures of us at the restaurant, the whole 9 yards. He's clean shaven. I see him. He's got a beard like this thick. So I said, "What?" You know, she took all kind of pictures. Next morning, scheduled an appointment with the doctor. The doctor didn't believe him. Then we showed him the pictures from the night before, and he's like, "What the hell?" So he went to everything he could to figure out what kind of spontaneous growth would happen to 2 people at the same time. Well, they were missing for 3 weeks, is what it was. So from the time we seen them at midnight to the time they called me at 6:30 in the morning, they accumulated 3 weeks of hair growth. Is what
So this is like a major time slip.
Yeah. So they took them. What they do is they pull them out of time, do what they're doing, and then stick them back in time, either right around the same time, right before, right after, but sometime within the same day period, they're going back. And since they were taken at night asleep, it didn't matter when they put them back because you weren't going to remember it anyway because you were asleep. So they just looped the memory. Oh, it was, and we broke both those. And ufology was flipping out about it. I was like, people, you know, every time we break something new in ufology, they would have a heart attack. And of course, our first 10 years was a nightmare because every ufologist in the field was anti-abduction. Everyone. Paula Harris got mad at me for 3 years. Well, 2 years. She wouldn't talk to me for 2 years because we were doing an interview on Wake Up USA, and I asked her about it. And she got mad and wouldn't talk to me anymore. And the only reason she did is I ran into her at Roswell's 60th anniversary. Walked up and gave her a big hug, and we started talking again after. But by then, she started changing her mind. Now, she does she was doing the all women's concert, but she does the STAR conference, which is an alien abduction conference. Richard Dole was the same way. He was couldn't know. Stanton Friedman was the same way. They all eventually changed their minds. But it took time. And a lot of fighting and a lot of arguing and a lot of let me show you why you're damn wrong.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show. We are out of time, I think. And it's just in time because this little
look at the baby. Look at the big baby.
She's
he said, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get into trouble.
She had just woke up. So
it's time to go outside, Mama.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing everything.
I enjoyed it. We're gonna have to put you to a longer show, man. This thing is too short.
It really is. Every time I just now get into my guests, it seems like the show wraps up.
Well, you're last, right? Aren't you last? No, Para Hub's behind. I forgot Para's behind you. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I forgot he was behind you. We should be putting shows all over. I forget where they are half the time. Like, who the hell is this?
I do have one more question based on our conversation tonight. Is there any takeaways from the disclosures at all that helps the community in any way?
First off, about the Milabs things, yes, we need to talk about that more. But actually, it helps in the way that it allows for the haters to shut up. Because now Congress is like, don't know UFOs. Well, what you better tell Congress the UFOs aren't real. But no, Congress said they're real, man. What you hating on me for? I said, and now I made people want to say, I said, don't you owe me an apology? They're like, why? I said, because according to the president, the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Congress, aliens are real. I can't say the language I use because this isn't an R&B show.
Yeah, please don't get me banned.
so there's only 2 R-rated shows on the network. So you don't have to worry about that. And that's on the flip side of the chat. That's because that Sean Kelly can't behave. He got cursed. He curses like an old sailor, man. I swear.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's always an honor to have you on.
I love coming. It's always fun. Yeah. It's now I'm hungry. I see these late shows make me hungry. Oh, we got birthday cake. Oh yeah, okay.
Well, that's Joe, you guys. You've been listening to The Gateway, broadcast from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips through the cracks. Live from United Public Radio 107.7 FM New Orleans. I want to thank my guest, Joe Montaldo. Thank you for listening to The Gateway, and until next time.